Good morning, everyone. There is no pain deeper than the pain of betrayal. But when that betrayal comes from the very people who were meant to protect you, love you, stand by you, your family, the wound cuts deeper than words can express. When someone on the outside hurts you, a friend, a coworker, a stranger, it's painful, yes, but it often feels manageable. There's a certain distance, a layer of emotional insulation. You expect the outside world to be unpredictable, even cruel at times, but when that pain comes from within your own home, from the very people who are supposed to protect you, guide you, and love you unconditionally, it's a completely different kind of devastation. Family betrayal strikes at the core of your being. It doesn't just bruise your heart, it shakes your foundation. Because family isn't supposed to be the source of harm. Family is supposed to be your first experience of safety, trust, and love. It's where most of us form our understanding of relationships, of loyalty, of self-worth. So when that foundation cracks, when someone you love turns cold, breaks your trust, or even turns against you, it doesn't just hurt. It confuses you, it disorients you, it makes you question reality. The betrayal can take many forms. Maybe it was a parent who withheld love or played favorites. Maybe it was a sibling who spread lies or abandoned you in your time of need. Maybe it was relatives who judged you, rejected you, or used you when it was convenient. These betrayals are not always loud and explosive. Sometimes they're subtle. A series of cold shoulders, broken promises, or silence when you needed words the most. And sometimes they're loud, words meant to wound, actions meant to control, or loyalty traded for personal gain. What makes it worse is that we often don't talk about it. Society tells us to respect our elders no matter what, to forgive because they're family, to suppress our hurt for the sake of keeping the peace. But silence doesn't heal betrayal, it buries it until it festers. This kind of pain lingers. It follows you into adulthood, into your friendships, into your romantic relationships. You might struggle to trust, to be vulnerable, to believe that you are worthy of unconditional love, because the people who should have taught you that were the ones who denied you of it. That's why betrayal by family isn't just a temporary pain, it's a deep emotional wound that can take years, even decades, to fully understand, let alone heal. It's a wound that reopens in quiet moments, in birthdays forgotten, in holidays spent alone, in the silent absence of those who were supposed to be there. But acknowledging the depth of this wound is the first step toward healing. You don't have to downplay it. You don't have to excuse it. You are allowed to call it what it is, a betrayal. And recognizing its weight is not weakness. It's the beginning of reclaiming your story. When we think of the word family, there's an instinctive warmth attached to it. It's supposed to mean comfort, acceptance, a place where you can be your truest self without fear of judgment or rejection. Family is meant to be the people who know you better than anyone else, who stand with you through storms and celebrate your triumphs like their own. In a perfect world, family is your first example of unconditional love, a bond that isn't broken by mistakes, differences, or distance. But that's the ideal, and for many, it's far from reality. For some, family has become a source of chronic pain, fear, or disillusionment. The very people who should have held them in love were the ones who tore them down with criticism, withheld affection, manipulated their emotions, or ignored their needs. Instead of a safe harbor, home became a war zone. Instead of encouragement, there was comparison. Instead of loyalty, betrayal. Instead of safety, trauma. This contradiction is what makes the pain so hard to process. Because in your heart, you may still want to believe in that vision of what family should be. You want to believe that deep down they care, that maybe if you tried harder, stayed quieter, forgave faster, things would change. But it's not your job to earn the kind of love that should have been freely given from the start. Family should have been your anchor, not your storm. They should have been the ones who reminded you of your worth, not the ones who made you question it. They should have celebrated your individuality, not tried to control or suppress it. Loyalty in a family doesn't mean blind obedience or forced silence. It means standing by one another with respect, honesty, and compassion. The painful truth is that some people grow up in homes where love is conditional, loyalty is transactional, and safety is a myth. Where affection is a tool of manipulation, where being family is used as a weapon. You owe us this, you can't walk away from us, you're nothing without us. That's not love, that's control. And control disguised as love is one of the most toxic things a person can experience. So we must redefine what family means. It's not just about genetics or bloodlines. It's about emotional responsibility, mutual respect, and the ability to show up with love consistently and truthfully. If someone in your life consistently makes you feel unsafe, unworthy, or unloved, no matter what their title is, they are not fulfilling the role of family. Real family stands with you, not above you. Real family holds space for your growth, your voice, your boundaries. Real family doesn't demand your silence to protect their comfort. They don't dismiss your feelings to maintain a false image of unity. They choose love over and over, even when it's hard, even when it means having uncomfortable conversations or facing their own flaws. So yes, family should mean love, loyalty, and safety. And if it doesn't, you are allowed to protect your peace, even if that means protecting it from the people who share your blood. One of the most dangerous outcomes of being betrayed by family is the internal narrative it often creates. It must be my fault. It's human nature to search for reasons, especially when the betrayal comes from those we trusted the most. We go over every word, every decision, every action, looking for what we might have done to cause the pain we're now carrying. We begin to believe that maybe, just maybe, we deserved it. But let me be very clear. You are not to blame for the betrayal someone chose to inflict on you. People often betray not because you are flawed, but because they are. Because they lack the maturity, the self-awareness, or the empathy to treat you with the love and respect you deserve. Their actions are a reflection of who they are, not who you are. Yet, when it's family, the line's blurred. We're taught to idolize family, to see them as incapable of wrongdoing. So when they hurt us, we instinctively think, I must be the problem. This is especially true if you were raised in a household where emotional manipulation, gaslighting, or blame shifting were normalized. If a parent never took responsibility, if a sibling twisted every conflict into your fault, or if you were guilt-tripped into silence for the sake of keeping the family together, then you've likely internalized that blame. You may have grown up believing that your pain was an overreaction, that your boundaries were disrespectful, or that your need for emotional safety was selfish. But here's the truth. You can be imperfect and still deserving of love. You can make mistakes and still not deserve to be abandoned, lied to, or betrayed. Family dynamics are complex, but complexity doesn't justify cruelty. It doesn't excuse betrayal, and it doesn't mean that their choice to hurt you was somehow earned by your actions. People who betray you often won't admit to their own faults. Instead, they'll project, they'll minimize what they did or rewrite history. They'll make you feel like you're overreacting or being dramatic, especially if you dare to speak up or set boundaries. But your voice matters, your feelings are valid, and your hurt is real. Healing begins when you start to separate what happened to you from who you are. You are not defined by the betrayal. You are not the sum of someone else's inability to love you properly. The betrayal may have broken your trust, but it didn't break your worth. And even when others refuse to take accountability, you don't have to carry the weight of their choices. Let go of the guilt that was never yours. Let go of the shame that was unfairly placed on your shoulders. What someone did to you is not your identity. You are not to blame for being betrayed. You are simply strong enough to love deeply, to trust completely, and to hope honestly. That's not weakness, that's courage. When someone you love and trust turns their back on you, especially someone from your own family, it reshapes the way you see yourself and the world around you. Betrayal doesn't just wound, it echoes. And those echoes often settle quietly into places we don't even realize. How we talk to ourselves, how we form relationships, how much we believe we deserve from others. You begin to question your own value, not because it's truly diminished, but because someone close to you treated you as if it was. Maybe they lied to you, chose someone else over you, gossiped behind your back, used your vulnerability against you, or completely cut you off without explanation. When that happens, it's natural to start asking, was I not good enough? Was I too much? Not enough? What could I have done differently? This internal narrative doesn't just stop at one relationship. It can bleed into every part of your life. You may start to distrust kindness when it comes. You may brace yourself for disappointment even when people show you love. You might build walls so high that no one, not even someone who genuinely cares, can reach over them. And that's one of the most lasting effects of betrayal, the erosion of trust. Not just trust in others, but trust in yourself. You doubt your own judgment. You second guess your choices. You wonder if the warning signs were there and you missed them. You might feel foolish for loving so openly or for expecting better. The very instincts that once guided you, your sense of what's right, who's safe, who's real, begin to feel unreliable. But here's where the shift begins: awareness. Naming the impact is the first step toward reclaiming your power. Acknowledging that your self-worth has been wounded doesn't make you weak, it makes you honest. And honesty is the ground where healing can begin. Healing is not about pretending the betrayal didn't happen. It's not about forcing yourself to trust again too soon. It's about slowly, patiently rebuilding from the inside out. It's learning to remind yourself over and over that someone else's decision to hurt you was never a reflection of your worth. It's about creating space to feel, to grieve, and eventually to grow. It may take time to relearn what healthy love looks like, to believe in it again, to recognize that boundaries don't push people away, they protect your heart. It may take time to look in the mirror and see someone worthy, not because others say so, but because you finally believe it. Yes, betrayal shatters things, trust, connection, confidence, but those pieces are not lost forever. They can be gathered, examined, and slowly reassembled into something stronger, something wiser, something beautifully whole. Not in spite of what you've been through, but because of how far you've come. Healing may not be a straight path, and it may not come with closure from the people who hurt you, but it is still possible. And it begins the moment you decide that you deserve more than the pain you were given. When someone you love betrays you, especially someone from your own family, the emotional impact can feel like a wave crashing over everything you thought you knew. It can knock the breath out of your chest and leave you standing in the wreckage of what used to feel secure. In those moments, pain becomes all-consuming. It fills the spaces where joy used to live. It interrupts your sleep, your confidence, your sense of peace, and for a while it might even become a part of your identity. But let's be clear about something. You are allowed to feel that pain. You're allowed to be angry, heartbroken, confused, even lost. You're allowed to cry over people who were supposed to love you better. You're allowed to mourn the version of your life you thought you'd have, the family bond you hoped would last, the love you thought was unconditional. These are real, valid emotions. To feel betrayed by your own blood and still try to understand it, make peace with it, or move beyond it, that takes immense strength, not weakness. Too often, people rush to tell you to forgive and forget. They'll say things like, don't dwell on it or let it go, it's in the past. But healing doesn't happen on command. You cannot skip over the pain. You cannot fast forward to peace. You have to sit with it, you have to name it, feel it, and sometimes re-feel it over and over before it starts to loosen its grip on you. But here's what matters most. While you are allowed to feel the pain, you are not meant to live inside of it forever. That pain is a part of your story, yes, but it is not your whole story. It is something that happened to you, not something that defines who you are. Your identity is not the betrayed one. You are not permanently broken. You are not doomed to repeat the same cycles. You are not destined to carry this wound in every step of your journey. There's a fine line between honoring your pain and being consumed by it. It's okay to remember, but don't let the betrayal rewrite your self-worth. It's okay to grieve, but don't let it blind you to the love and possibilities that still exist. It's okay to be cautious, but don't let the fear of betrayal steal your ability to trust those who earn it. The truth is, pain changes us. It can harden us or soften us. It can make us bitter or make us wise. But ultimately, we get to choose what to do with the pain. Will we carry it like a chain around our necks, or will we let it become the stone we step on as we climb? You can feel your pain without letting it steal your joy, your ambition, your kindness, your dream. You can hold space for both, the wound and the healing, the betrayal and the hope, the sorrow and the strength. This pain may shape you, but it doesn't get to define your future unless you let it. And you, more than anyone else, deserve a future that's bigger than what hurt you. We grow up hearing that blood is thicker than water, that no matter what happens, family is forever, that those who share your DNA are your people, your tribe, your roots, your home. But as we grow older and experience life more fully, we begin to understand that the concept of family is far deeper than biology. It's not simply about who you're related to, it's about who shows up for you, who sees you, who respects you, who truly loves you. Blood may connect you, but it does not guarantee loyalty, kindness, or safety. There are people with whom we share genetics who may never offer us emotional support, people who carry our last name yet repeatedly tear us down. People who stand next to us in family portraits but turn their backs when it matters most. And then there are those who, though not related by blood, show us more love, more care, and more humanity than some relatives ever could. Family, in its truest sense, is a sacred bond built on mutual respect, compassion, and trust. It's about people who listen to you even when it's uncomfortable, people who honor your boundaries, even when they don't fully understand them, people who show up not just in times of celebration, but in moments of pain, confusion, and vulnerability. That's the kind of family we all deserve, not just people who share your past, but people who believe in your future. So often we are told that we must tolerate cruelty, manipulation, or neglect simply because they're family. We're made to feel guilty for stepping away from toxic dynamics, or we're pressured to maintain relationships that cost us our peace, our self-worth, or our mental health. But the truth is, respect is not optional even in family. Love is not real if it's conditional, and being related to someone does not give them the right to disrespect you, silence you, or mistreat you. You have every right to redefine what family means to you. You can choose the people who uplift you, the people who support your growth, the people who love you as you are, not just when you're easy to love, but especially when you're hurting or struggling. You can build a chosen family, one rooted not in obligation, but in mutual care. These are the people who don't just know your history, They walk with you into your future. It's okay to mourn the family you were born into and still build something better. It's okay to love them and still protect yourself from them. And it's okay to say, I deserve a version of family that feels safe, that feels honest, that feels like love. Because at the end of the day, family is not who you're told to love. It's who loves you right. There comes a point in everyone's life when we realize that we must choose between keeping others comfortable and protecting our own peace. And when it comes to family, those ties we're taught are unbreakable. The idea of setting boundaries can feel terrifying. It can feel like rebellion, like betrayal, like selfishness. But the truth is, setting boundaries is not cruelty, it's clarity. It's not disrespect. Is self-respect. When you've been betrayed by family, part of your healing journey will involve redefining what you allow and what you no longer accept. It means taking a hard look at the patterns, the manipulation, the guilt trips, the emotional neglect, the constant overstepping, and saying no more. That kind of stance doesn't make you ungrateful or cold-hearted. It means you're finally recognizing your own worth and refusing to be treated as less than you deserve. For a long time, you might have tolerated things that made you feel small or unseen simply because they came from family. Maybe you stayed quiet to avoid conflict. Maybe you forgave without apology. Maybe you accepted blame that was never yours. But every time you ignored your inner voice to maintain the illusion of peace, a part of you paid the price. Boundaries are how you stop paying that price. They are not walls meant to shut people out. They are fences with gates that open to those who respect the space you've claimed for yourself. Boundaries say, I will not argue when I'm being disrespected. I won't continue this conversation if it turns toxic. I am not responsible for fixing what I didn't break. They are not ultimatums. They are standards. And yes, when you start to set them, especially in families that have thrived on guilt, obligation, or unspoken rules, it might cause tension. You may be called dramatic, selfish, even cruel, but that reaction isn't a reflection of you. It's a reflection of how uncomfortable people are when you stop letting them cross lines they were never meant to cross. The people who truly love you, the ones who value you, not for what you do, but for who you are, will respect your boundaries, even if it takes them time. They will learn to meet you where you stand, not where it's convenient for them. And those who don't, that's information, that's clarity, that's confirmation that your boundary was necessary in the first place. You are allowed to say no to what hurts, even if it comes wrapped in tradition or family ties. You are allowed to step back from those who demand everything and offer nothing. You are allowed to build a life that feels emotionally safe, even if it means distancing yourself from those you once called home. Because protecting your peace is not selfish, it's survival. And more than that, it's the beginning of healing, of self-love, of finally giving yourself the care you've been denied. One of the cruelest illusions of being betrayed, especially by the people you were taught to rely on most, is the overwhelming feeling of isolation. It's that heavy silence after a fight, the emptiness after the trust breaks, the aching realization that those who were supposed to protect you chose to hurt you instead. It makes you feel like you're the only one going through this, like your pain is somehow unique in its depth, like no one could possibly understand what it feels like to be broken by those who were meant to build you up. But here's the truth, even if it doesn't always feel comforting, you are not alone. There are countless others, many who walk quietly beside you every day, carrying similar wounds. People who've also had to redefine what family means. People who've sat in the dark trying to understand how someone they trusted could turn into a source of their deepest pain. People who've wrestled with guilt, anger, confusion, and grief, all wrapped in the same bitter package. They may not talk about it often because betrayal by family is a kind of taboo. Society doesn't like to admit that sometimes the deepest scars are inflicted within the walls of a home. But if you look closely, you'll find them. You'll find the ones who've had to heal themselves without apologies. The ones who've had to learn how to trust again, love again, live again. Their resilience is real, and so is yours. Because here's the second part of that truth. You are not just not alone. You are powerful. The fact that you're still standing, still breathing, still searching for answers and healing means something profound. It means you have already survived something that could have swallowed you whole. It means there is a core within you that betrayal did not touch, a strength they could not take. You may feel broken at times, but broken is not the same as defeated. Growth is not immediate. It doesn't come in grand cinematic moments. It comes in quiet decisions. In the mornings, you get out of bed, even when your heart is heavy. In the moments you speak up when it's easier to stay silent. In the times you choose to treat yourself with compassion, even when the voices from your past taught you to doubt your worth. You have the power to create a life that feels nothing like the pain you came from. You have the power to surround yourself with people who lift you, who see you, who celebrate your truth instead of silencing it. You have the power to rebuild your identity, not as a victim of betrayal, but as someone who turned that betrayal into a stepping stone towards something better. That doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean pretending it never hurt. It means taking the wound and turning it into wisdom. It means refusing to let those who betrayed you write the rest of your story. You hold the pen now. And in case the world ever made you believe otherwise, your pain is valid, your healing is possible, and your future is still yours to shape. You are not defined by what they did. You are defined by how you rise. In closing, let us remember that betrayal, especially from family, can leave deep scars. But those scars do not define us. They are reminders of our resilience and our capacity to rise above pain. Each of us carries a unique story, one filled with struggles and triumphs, heartache and healing. You have the right to feel your emotions, to set boundaries, and to demand respect and love, both from yourself and from others. You have the power to seek out those who truly care for you, to build your chosen family, and to nurture relationships that uplift and support you. As you navigate the aftermath of betrayal, know that it is okay to seek help and to lean on those who understand your journey. Healing is not a linear path. It is a courageous journey filled with ups and downs. But with each step, you reclaim your power and your story. You are not alone in this fight, and you are not powerless. You have the strength to grow beyond the betrayal, to transform your pain into purpose, and to create a life that reflects your true worth. Remember, your past does not dictate your future. So stand tall, embrace the process of healing, allow yourself the grace to move forward, knowing that brighter days are ahead. Together, we can redefine what family means, celebrate our resilience, and foster a love that is genuine and nurturing. Thank you for your courage, your vulnerability, and your commitment to healing. You are truly worthy of the love and respect you seek, and you are capable of achieving it.